Last year, I had a chance to play through several video games, and only in retrospect I realized just how many were revolving around time loops. What is it that draws me to these time loop stories time and time again? A time loop is a story device in which one or more characters, that I'll call loopers, are bound to repeat some period of time again and again, while all other characters are oblivious to this fact. Sometimes the time restarts after a specific amount of time, sometimes it's reset by a specific event. In this video, I'm going to share the system that I've developed for running time loops in tabletop role-playing game of your choice.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
Time loops generally share some combination of these three characteristics: learning, trying everything, and a puzzle. Coincidentally, each of these traits could map to a reason why you might enjoy a time loop. A looper has the perfect opportunity to learn new things about the world or the characters that surround them, be it through observation, trial and error, or through other means. Thanks to the loop, they can become more competent, gain new skills, and even grow closer to anyone around them. Sometimes we enjoy a time loop because it's a prime opportunity for character development. A character is who they are in the dark. When not kept in check, this sort of power can cause turmoil even to the most rational mind. What would you do if you could be spared the consequences? How far would you go? And which things are off limits to you, even in this scenario? Sometimes, a time loop is a test of the looper's character, showing us the uncomfortable truth of who they are deep within. Some loops have a specific cause, a problem that the looper must resolve. The time loop is a clockwork, reacting to everything the looper attempts until they find the sequence of events that resolves the loop and ends it. Vaguely based on these, if we are to run a time loop in your favorite tabletop role-playing system, we need at least the following: the ability to learn and grow indefinitely, a way of managing the character's sanity that keeps them from actually trying things that go against their morals, and a set of cool time loop abilities that could help us with breaking the loop. To run a time loop adventure, you need three things: loop, map, and a schedule. Let's work out some details of the loop with a couple of questions. Pause if you need time to think through them. How does the time rewind itself to the starting point? How can the loop be broken? How can it guide your players towards this realization? And finally, how long does the time loop last? While we're here, let's also split the time loop's duration into several time units of equal length. This will be useful later. An environment can be difficult to navigate with just wordy descriptions. Sure, it can be done, but I prefer to use schematic maps for things like this. No, you don't need to commission the community's finest map makers for a highly detailed battle map. A map made up of interconnected points or areas will suffice. This might be the most difficult part of the preparations, but to me it's the part I enjoy a lot. Here, you need to create a schedule for each location that describes anything noteworthy happening there at a certain time, divided up into the time units. An important thing to keep in mind is to make sure a character isn't in two locations at the same time, and that their movement from one location to another also makes sense. There is No Tomorrow is a system I developed for easily running games focused on time loops. It features a system for learning things in every loop, a way to track your looper's sanity, a cool set of abilities relevant to a time loop, a GM section with a table for inspiration regarding the time loop's nature and more, and example traits that you could use to play this as a standalone system. What? You thought I'd be giving you a game that you could only play on its own? I chose to make this a modular system instead, allowing you to play it with pretty much any RPG you want. It also features an example adventure in which the players must find a way to prevent the train from exploding in 2 hours. It includes an example schedule, a schematic map, and even a referential map that shows you where each named NPC is based on the current in-game time. I will be honest about something. This is certainly not a perfect system. It leaves the resolution of questions like what's a core trait and how do I determine the success up to the GM's judgment based on what game they're running. The one part of the puzzle I couldn't work out no matter how many times I went through it is how to resolve combat in a time loop. It involves way too many variables to the point where I'm tempted to suggest running it every time, but running the same combat again and again could be boring. If you've got suggestions as to how this could be resolved, do tell me in the comments please. That's it for the time loops. You can find my There Is No Tomorrow system in the description. You know, I just realized something. Making content iteratively kind of feels like a time loop, doesn't it? I mean, I make a thing and I experience it again and again and again, trying to find flaws and fix them, hoping that whatever I will make at the end of it will be perfect. Although perfection cannot really be achieved, at least not with experience like mine. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, let's see if this will be good enough to end up somewhere out there on YouTube. Thank you for watching again, and have a nice century.